Let's go ahead and dive into the more difficult chain rule problems. So starting with 10 to the x squared minus 1. So if it was just 10 to the x, then the derivative of that would be 10 to the x times natural log of 10, right? So that's just the derivative of the outside. So let's go ahead and take care of that. So I'm going to rewrite our function as 10 to the, then the inside will be x squared minus 1. So that's f of x, right? So now let's go ahead and find the derivative. So f prime of x is going to equal 10 to the x squared minus 1 times natural log of 10. That's just taking the derivative of the outside. Then the derivative of the inside, which is the derivative of the red one, so we're going to multiply by that, is 2x. From there, you can rearrange it. Sometimes I put the exponential at the very end, unless there's a trig function. The trig function usually goes last. This is technically correct for free response, though, but multiple choice, they'll usually put, if there's the constant coefficient will go in the front, x will go after that, then we'll put the logarithm. Actually, I think the logarithm would go after because it has that inside function we have to be careful of. Although you don't want the logarithm to look like it's in the exponent. Anyways, you can rearrange these however you want to. Let's go ahead and take a look at this one. So I'm going to go ahead and rewrite it as 3. Actually, let me make sure. I'm going to rewrite it to all that to the 1/2 power, because the square root would be to the 1/2 power. So when I take the derivative of this, it's going to be 1/2 times all of that to the negative 1/2, because we take away 1, right? Actually, I'm going to run out of room, so I'm going to bring that right here. And then keep the same inside, 3 minus 7x minus x squared. And I'm going to multiply by the derivative of the inside, which will be negative 7 minus 2x. Then from there, usually this will just move to the front. This is technically correct. We might, though, just rearrange it a bit. So this has a negative exponent, so it's going to go on the bottom. Realize that this is in the numerator. That's over 1. This is over 1. So because of the negative exponent, we're going to send that down to the bottom with the 2. And then the negative 7 minus 2x will be on the top. And that becomes a positive 1/2. So now we can change it back into a square root. I'm going to go ahead and factor out the negative and put it in front of the fraction sign just to show you that is an option. So you're basically, what you're doing is you're factoring out the negative from the 7. So it becomes a 7 plus 2x. And then just putting that negative out in the front. So we'll 7 plus 2x on the top. And the bottom is 2 times the square root of 3 minus 7x minus x squared. Okay, last one. So derivative of tangent, remember secant squared, so derivative of cotangent is negative cosecant squared. So we just have to remember that. Derivative of cotangent is negative cosecant x, cosecant squared x. Yes, I do have them all memorized. So our outer function, if I was going to rewrite this, h of x equals cotangent would be our outer function. Then our inner function would be 6x minus x squared. So when I take this derivative, I'll get negative cosecant squared. That's the derivative of the outside. Keep the same inside. And then times 6 minus 2x. And then usually this just goes out to the front. We could factor a 2 from that as well. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. So we'll bring that out to the front. Remember, this is actually correct. This is done right here in free response. But for multiple choice, they could rearrange this in many ways. And I think that's usually where people get most confused on the chain rule. And actually, I see this one's multiple choice. So we're going to try to make this fit this form here. And so what I'm going to do is I can get rid of this negative. If I factor out a negative from inside here, then you'll get double negative and it'll become a positive. And I'll factor out a 2. I'm going to factor out a positive 2 from that, or a negative 2 from that. And then what we're left with is negative 3 plus x. I'm just going to rearrange that. I'm going to make it x minus 3. Same thing. So this is what I was telling you. Multiple choice. If you get multiple choice, that's when you have to try to make it fit your form here. So this, I don't see this answer anywhere. I do see if I distribute the 2 back, I'll have 2x minus 6. So this one's looking good. And then what is cosecant? Well, cosecant is 1 over sine, right? So I can change that cosecant squared. So let me distribute that 2 back to 2x minus 6. And then that cosecant squared will become 1 over sine squared of 6x minus x squared. And some of you might think we could factor the x out inside. No, it's inside the function, so it's got to stay in there. We don't mess with the inside of the trig function. And I see that answer is B.